Hey fellow roasters, welcome back to another episode of Roasting Together with me, your host, Bryant. We're here roasting another tasty coffee that has just gone up on the web from Ethiopia. It is a washed coffee from the Idido station in Yirgacheffe. And we're going to have a bonus coffee coming up after this video that is also related to the same washing station, which makes it a very unique opportunity to get in on these two coffees that we are currently offering. So we're going to be doing a 1 kilo batch, charging at 405 degrees, low airflow. Drum speed, sitting around 60 rotations per minute. And initial fuel is going to be 1.4 kPa, or 1400 pascals, after a 1 minute soak. All right. So making sure that all my settings are in the right spot, at 1.4 kPa for gas, drum speed around 60 and low airflow. We're coming down in drum temp, 407, 406, and we're charging at 405 for a minute soak. So I'm going to go ahead, get beans in the hopper. As we're crossing the 406 degrees on drum temp, coming down to 405, going to hit charge. And get them beans in there. Perfect. Awesome. Cool. Waiting for a minute to get ignition back on, and away we go. Cool. So this wash Ethiopia is a grade 1. So if you ever see grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 in these coffees, it's all relating to density-based sorting of these coffees. Grade 1 is thought to be, more dense. So you think more sugars, more sweetness, more overall complexity and whatnot. But it's not always the case. Treat your grade 2s, treat your grade 3s as well. There's a place for everything. Sometimes a lot of grade 2 coffees come in tasting a lot better than the grade 1s. So when you are shopping around for those coffees that you're bringing into your space, make sure that you're tasting a grade 1 and grade 2 if available. We just hit 1 minute. I hit the ignition, and that's going to get our gas pressure back up. Perfect. I just heard those burners roar to life. Just like my times working the broiler at the BK Lounge. Burger King. Have it your way. You rule. All right. So away we go. These guys behind the cameras are just laughing. So hanging out at 1400 for a bit, and we're going to be making a small adjustment as we get up closer to dry end and bring our gas pressure down to 1.0. These coffees take on heat very well. Little tiny seeds too. Not as tiny as like pea berry or something that you're like, oh my, it's going to get stuck in my drum kind of small, but they're smaller. They're just cute little beans that take up heat very nicely, very easily, and very efficiently. So overall roast time here is going to be just past 9 minutes, 9.5 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark. We're just starting to see our rate of rise pop up on this profile. Everything's roaring through as it should be. All things in its right place. We were talking about what movies coffees would be, or like roasting coffees to movies for like what the vibe is. And we recently just washed Everything Everywhere All at Once. And this coffee, just with how fantastical it is, I kind of like connected to that. Very kind of bubbly, floral, wild, vibrant. I think that's what's fun about just, I guess, really any of your classic washed coffees from Ethiopia. It's just like, you always know kind of what you're getting. Always a very fun, pleasant, wild, vibrant cup. This coffee, very juicy, very nice. I believe I said it is in the Yirgacheffe region or zone. And kind of even when you hear those names of like whether it's, Yirgacheffe or whether it's Guji, it's kind of like you already have this idea of like what you're expecting, right? You think, oh yeah, Yirgacheffe, like it's going to be like tea-like and very citrusy and floral. Or like Guji, it's going to be a little bit more juicy and maybe like round and kind of punch-like, and but maybe not as crisp as like Yirgacheffe. And then you go over to like Dama and you get a little bit more like chocolate with like floral. You know, we kind of already have these associations with these zones, and makes Ethiopia a very, very fun place for all these coffees that you can kind of bring in. We have a Guji on the web, probably for a little time left. If you want to do a comparison between two zones, that can be a very fun roasting exercise. Get a bag of the Yirgacheffe, get a bag of the Guji, and go from there. We're approaching green to yellow, and I just dropped gas pressure down to 0.6. We've been blasting it with heat at the beginning. That's going to carry over and show in the mid-phase. It's just going to kind of like keep barreling with heat. You know, maybe if we started with 1.0, we would hold a higher gas pressure for longer. But because we started off with 1.4 and was just blasting heat, which is that is taking on a lot of that breadiness that we're associated with at green to yellow. So we're in the mid-phase now. Because we blasted it with heat, it's just like, it's just soaked up all this energy, and I think about it as like, oh, soaking up all that energy. As we kind of like get in the middle, there's enough there to kind of like carry it through, as opposed to like trying to replenish energy that it doesn't have yet. You know, all these, you can snowball in this theory stuff all day long, right? It's just like X affects Y to get to Z to get to A, but that's how you do it. It's demystifying coffee. Remember, there are coffee isn't just magic. There's a lot of this little experiment stuff going on in the background that you just kind of play around with, and then you get to serve it to everybody, and they're just like, it tastes amazing, and you're like, yeah, it took a while to figure it out, and that's okay. It takes us all a while to figure it out. All right. So once we get to, let's see here. We're moving just slightly below where we were expected, so we would probably expect to be maybe 3 degrees ahead of where we're at currently, so we're at 340, and our line is just running parallel to our BT right now. So when you think about that, if we're running a little bit slower, it's telling me to adjust gas now in relation to my profile to go down to 0.4, but I'm going to wait another 10 to 15 seconds until I get up to the temperature I had originally bumped that gas pressure down to, which is sitting right now. So 0.4, gas down. I'm doing the same thing with airflow. So I waited a little while to bring down gas, and now I'm going to bring airflow up about 15 seconds later to match the temperature I was at in the reference profile as well. So everything's just sidestepping over and shifting in the profile. High airflow. Blam. Waving hello to everybody walking by. All right. So now, approaching first, probably be there in about 45 seconds or so. Dropping gas down to 0.2 to keep this at a lighter roast to get to about 388 into development. You don't want to roast away any of those vibrant florals. Hence the shirt. All right, I heard some outliers. Pop, 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 pop. Pop, pop, pop. And continuing, marking first. Perfect. Now we're just coasting through this. We're taking the gas pedal off from the metal, or halfway from the metal, I guess, so that we're not just like blowing past the stop sign, right? We want to come up to where we're going to drop the coffee. At the red light, don't blow past it, because I bet there's a cop around the corner. No, I'm kidding. That's probably not the case. But still, stop where you want to stop for the roast. So it's 378, moving at 16 degrees per minute. But because I've decreased gas and because we're in development and there's all this kind of chaotic good going on in the roaster right now, from patterns, you know that temperature is going to kind of like continuously decrease because of all these factors currently going on. So because it says we're moving at 15 degrees per minute, hence that ROR line, that's not the case. It's always going to be changing a little bit as you move forward, as it's looking backwards, to tell you what's happening in the future. So you got to go a little bit with your gut on like what you've recognized as patterns, and then also take your rate of rise with a grain of salt, because it can lead you astray. Woo! Very, very wild. Hibiscus, spearmint, rosy, potpourri. It's a luxurious scent going on in there. Hitting 18% in development, 385, 388. This is what we're looking for. I'm going to take a bag of this home. This is just lovely. I'm even going to see if my grandparents want to drink it. They don't drink coffee, but I'll give them a little sip. Chocolate, floral, citrus, vibrant. Get her out. And there we have another light roasted coffee from Ethiopia, brought to you by Mill City Roasters. Bryant will be signing off and seeing you again in the near future to present another very exciting coffee from this Idido station. Keep drinking the lovely coffee and keep roasting all of the best things.